Many believe, and I fear, that the use of a Ouija board can open a gateway or a portal to spirits or demons who may wish to communicate. I have read of pleasant experiences, but most of those who come through are not looking for peace or closure or conversation with those on this side. Most come looking to scare us, to manifest physical disruption, and even in rare cases to possess a person sitting at the Ouija board. Why anyone would open the door up and say, "Come right on in" to anything on the other side is beyond me, because once they are here, we appear to be at their mercy, having little to no control over what happens next. We'll take a look at the experience of this young woman named Erica. In 2010, I was in my sophomore year in college. I was living in an apartment-style dorm at Northern Arizona University. That year, we had a massive snowstorm, and as a result, I was snowed in for a few days with my best friends. Luckily, since we knew the storm was coming and we were looking forward to the next few days of no school, we darted off to a Walmart and picked up a few survival necessities, junk food and some cheap movies. And we also got a Ouija board. Well, at first, we started off playing it by asking the typical questions that one would ask a Ouija board. Am I going to be famous one day? How old will I be when I get married? Just stupid stuff, but it was fun and it was innocent. Then one of us asked a stupid question. What's your name? And we got an answer. He said that his name was Jacob and that he was an angel. Well, then things began to get scary. Jacob warned me that communication with the Ouija board only made my soul open more and more to evil things, specifically demons. Well, I'm not a very religious person at all. I wasn't really bothered by what he said, and I decided that I was fine and continued using the Ouija board. We all did. Over the next few days, while we were still snowed in our tiny apartment, my friends began to see things and feel things. My friends all felt things pushing them or touching their arms. They said they were seeing silhouettes of figures standing and watching us, pacing back and forth. But I didn't experience any of these things until one night that all changed. Some of us were sitting on the couch, including me, and some of us were on the floor, but we were all surrounding the Ouija board. I was getting very sleepy, and I leaned my head on my hand with my elbow on the arm of the couch, and I began to doze off. I woke up, sitting straight up on the couch with very straight posture, but what had happened between falling asleep and waking up was something that I wasn't even aware of. My friends described to me that I was drifting off, and then I suddenly shot up, exclaimed that I was hungry, and I went straight to the kitchen. I began opening and shutting cabinets and shuffling through our food supply, and then I just stopped. I touched my face and was stroking it up and down. I was running my hands up and down my body, and then I began laughing very, very hard. They said it was a deep, guttural sort of a laugh that would never come from a girl with my high-pitched voice. Well, then I was pacing back and forth in the kitchen, just like the creatures that my friends had seen. I was walking very fast and turning with agility. I was exhibiting mannerisms, they said, that were very unlike me. Then I just came back in, sat back down, and said, "Let's continue." That's when I became myself again. I didn't remember any of what had just happened. Well, we all decided to put the Ouija board away and go to sleep then, thinking it was probably just me sleepwalking. Well, the next day we pulled the Ouija board out again and decided to ask what had happened. As soon as we all put our hands on the game piece, it began moving. It said, "Hello, I missed you." We asked what had happened the night before, and it said, "I told you." Now we were completely freaked out, and we all agreed that there was definitely something unnatural that had happened the night before. I began to feel really afraid for my own safety. So we called my friend Lauren, who was quite a religious person, and asked her to come over. She definitely did not want to come over. And not only because she would have to tread through a foot of snow to get to us from her dorm, but also because of the fact that she did not want to expose herself to anything evil. She genuinely believed that what we had going on in our apartment was something ungodly and demonic. Well, we finally convinced her, and she agreed to come over and just help us to figure it all out. What happened that night will terrify me for the rest of my life. We were all sitting around the Ouija board, and we put the game piece on the board. We put our fingers on it. We all seemed to be breathing at the same rate, and the room was silent. Then Lauren said, "Leave Erica alone." Well, my head snapped back so that I was looking up. I was laughing at the skies, laughing at my friends. My hands were digging into the arms of my chair, and my legs went stiff, stretched out in front of me. My laugh was evil. It was unnatural and very deep. All of this I know only because my friends described it to me. The only thing I remember of those moments is desperately trying to look my friends in the eye, like asking for help. And to me, my throat felt like I was crying. Then, my friends told me, I began screaming. And not a high-pitched girl sort of scream. It was a wailing, like nothing that they'd ever heard. I sounded like I was in pain. They said that this happened as soon as my friend Lauren opened her Bible. I was kicking and I kept yelling, "Stop it now! Stop that right now! Don't you dare!" And Erica responded in a commanding voice, "Leave Erica alone. Leave this place and don't come back." I screamed louder and kicked harder. My chair was shaking. My friends couldn't even describe the ways that my body was twisting. Well, I eventually stopped and I just began laughing again. But this time it was a calm laughter, a menacing, evil chuckling. Then they said my body just collapsed into the chair, and I came to. There were tears running down my face. So that feeling in my throat was because of crying, like I'd thought. There was a peace in the room, a quietness, but my friends' faces looked horrified. I said, "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry," and I sobbed. I knew it wasn't my fault, but I didn't know what else to say. They recalled all the previous moments to me, and they described everything that had happened. I took in every word, of course, and I was so afraid. But the feeling in the room was strangely, absolutely fine. It was like we could sense that nothing more would happen that night. I have written of my experience, but I haven't been able to talk about the events since they happened. I know that I was possessed because other things have happened in the years since, but only when I've been by myself. So I know that whatever possessed me was an evil, demonic creature. What terrifies me so much about using a Ouija board is that you're opening a door and anything could come through. I tell you what, you will never catch me using a Ouija board. Have you ever used a Ouija board? If you've had an interesting experience, please share it in the comments below. I'd love to read it. If you enjoyed this video, please take a split second to hit that thumbs up. This really helps YouTube notice my channel and will show it to more people who enjoy strangeness like you and I. Remember, it's a strange world. Keep your eyes and ears open and be kind. Cheerio!